Sonic 3 is still in theaters, and they're already working on Sonic 4, or discussing it anyway. Jason Emmett here with the Movie Mix, and this is what we know so far. Okay, so the film's director, Jeff Fowler, was recently speaking with Screen Rant, and he mentioned having a little break from the recent films to enjoy its success before getting back to developing another story. This is what he had to say. Once all the dust settles, it'll be time to figure out next steps and start to have those conversations. But yeah, it's so exciting to see the enthusiasm, the anticipation, all be there for what's next, because it's really challenging to keep these movies fresh and have these stories feel fresh and keep the momentum. So that's the goal above everything. All right, so I'm going to hop into just a tiny bit of spoiler territory here. So if you haven't seen Sonic 3, be warned. The third installment sees Sonic and team face off against Robotnik and this time his grandfather, as well as Shadow. Now, at the end, we see that Shadow is very much still alive, and there's also an army of Metal Sonics. Metal Sonic was created by Eggman and can pretty much mimic anything Sonic is able to do. Jim Carrey, who plays Ivo, Eggman, Robotnik in the movies, has pretty much retired from acting. That happened back in 2022, but he did step back into the Sonic film to reprise his role. When asked about the potential for another movie, he said the following: "I don't want to say for sure, but it always comes down to what's happening in the moment. And the guys, Toby Asher and Jeff Fowler, they call me up and say, we have this idea, what do you think, and where we can take Robotnik. So it really comes down to that. I'm not against it for sure. I'm having a fantastic time, and I love the fans. I love the whole lore around the piece, and the game, and everything. So it's really a strong circle to be in. And I love also that these guys, these new guys, Keanu Reeves and Idris Elba, and all these wonderful people are signing off and going, wow, these are the guys that every guy would love to be. Why are they jumping into this world? Well, they love something about it, and I think it's the heart of the franchise. So, while not definitive, that would imply that given the right story, Jim Carrey would consider taking on the role once more. And I hope he does. But technically, he doesn't have to. At least, not entirely. It is feasible that Robotnik created the Metal Sonics before dying, and I could see a world where Robotnik has placed his consciousness into a computer in order to control his new creations. That would kind of mean that Jim Carrey could be in the film and still be Jim Carrey, but it wouldn't have to be as present, I would think. It might also be an interesting way for us to lead into another villain, Sage, who Robotnik created as an AI that eventually creates a body and breaks free from the computer world. What this could also do is open the door for other bad guys moving forward once Robotnik is gone. With Shadow being introduced, Infinite could easily enter the picture. Infinite was a character introduced in Sonic Forces, and he has a bit of a grudge with Shadow anyway. Now, I know Ben Schwartz, who voices Sonic, has expressed his desire to see a number of sequels to this film, and I think there's potential for that, but they have to be willing to advance the story arc. I enjoyed Sonic 3, but I will say that the characters of Tom and Maddie, played by James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, felt less important to the story than they had previously. And I also wouldn't hate seeing Sonic, move over to Mobius, where he actually comes from, with some of the settings we see in the video games playing into the movies more, because they haven't so far. Do not get me wrong, I love James Marsden and Tika Sumpter. I like them in the movie, but forcing their characters to do things just to have them just doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, the film has made over $300 million in the box so far. So another entry is almost definitely going to happen. So with that being said, I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Would you like to see more Sonic films? Would you, like me, like to see it move over to Mobius a little bit, get some play there with some of the back characters we haven't really seen? Drop it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Before you go, though, run by that subscribe button and hit it really quick. And until next time, guys, stay awesome.